Hi everyone. Welcome to the International Conference on Recent Trends in Machine Learning, IoT, Smart Cities, and Applications. Today we are going to discuss a review paper titled Managing Data Protection and Privacy on Cloud that discusses challenges and solutions to protect data across hybrid cloud environment. This is Satyavati Devadari, CyberRest Cloud CTO from Microfocus. My co-authors are Dr. Surya Prasad J, Vice Chancellor, PES University, Prasad Honawali, Professor, Computer Science Engineering, PES University. In this paper, what we discussed are the increased cloud adoption during the pandemic, different challenges to data discovery, and native solutions which are offered by cloud platforms. We discussed further on data protection, specifically about cloud data analytics, and provided some conclusions on what should be researched further. Coming to growth of cloud adoption, you might have already observed during the pandemic, digitization grown significantly, and the numbers are significantly raised in internet usage, video conferencing, content delivery, and e-commerce, etc. With that, cloud adoption has grown significantly as well. If this trend continues, Gartner estimates that 95% of the digital workloads will be on cloud by 2025. With this growth of digital, we also observe digital financial crime. And the number of incidents related to financial crime as well as internet crime has been increased 3 times since 2016 to 2020, as per the statistics by Federal Bureau of Investigation. It impacts the personal data as well as organizations because personal data, what is being leaked, gets sold in different areas, one of them being dark web, where personal data is being sold all the way from $1 to $1,000 for different sensitivity of the data. And to address this kind of leakage of information and enforcing accountability on organizations, governments have come up with regulations and penalties. So, such regulations being European Global Data Protection Regulations, California Consumer Privacy Act. Similarly, we have Canada, Australia, Singapore, and other countries also come up with privacy laws. India also have a privacy bill around personal data protection called as PCPP, which was approved recently. Recently, what we observed is last lot of penalty has been enforced for enforcing such regulations, also to bring accountability. So one of them being the historical penalty towards Facebook, that is $5 billion for not observing malpractice of personal information on Facebook. This also shows such a certain trend about data being moved to public cloud from the traditional data centers, and also the data being moved completely towards the public cloud from endpoints such as laptops and desktops. Now people are storing data on Google Cloud, OneCloud, or Dropbox instead of storing it on laptops or desktops. So considering that the data is everywhere, it is on different cloud platforms or different environments like vendor, customer, supplier, etc. And also it's in different locations. So how do you see the data across? That's the challenge. And once you know where is it, you also need to know what should be kept, what should be dropped, so that we throw the rubbish very quickly. You are not carrying it on. And also once you identified the in-scope data, and classifying them according to the severity, whether it is restricted, such as trade secrets and secret formulas, confidential, such as social security numbers, etc. And then internal only, which is actually like internal business plans, public information, which are like news releases. According to the classification, our organization has to apply the protocols. To address these data discovery complexities, cloud platforms have come up with different native solutions. What we are discussing here is at least one, which is a strong case for each of the platform. So for AWS, based on the research, what we observed is they are strong in providing data discovery on unstructured data, such as audio files, media files, and then the general documents, This would do by continuously evaluating the data in these three buckets using Amazon Macy and offer a visibility of sensitive data. And based on that findings, user can take action. Azure being Microsoft centric, so Microsoft SQL being the core, and now it's called Azure SQL. It comes with a strong data discovery in the structured data side, which shows about how can you handle the data in databases and in the data lakes, etc., using structural queries and reports, etc. So they do have a complete use cases on how can you classify, how to do the assessment, and how to protect. Google Cloud comes with strong data mining capability, considering its strength in indexing, normalizing the data. So the data classification is actually based on a tool called data catalog. With that, the generic assets could be grouped and tagged and then mapped. Based on that, you could assign it to different persona based on the classifications. How do you address the data discovery across multiple locations or multiple clouds, right? That could be handled by platform neutral solutions like Voltage. There are other solutions also, which you will just hear. So what it does is it actually can capture data across SharePoint as well as the Google Drive, as well as S3 bucket, as well as Salesforce, and put it together, and then you could do naming and classifying and then labeling so that you can do the protection afterwards, right? So not only just identifying, which is a step one we discussed, it's also important to address zero trust principles to provide access and encrypting the data and taking the backups so that in case accidental removal of the data, you can take care of it. And while it's not required, securely deleting the data is absolutely important, right? So there are different encryption methods available for data, securing the data while it is in use, such as memory encryptions, right? Securing the data in storages, such as database encryptions, etc. A third is database data while it is in transit, such as secure communication like SSL, SSH, etc. So there are multiple encryptions available. So what we are discussing in this paper specifically is about, can you conduct computations on the encrypted data without the need to decrypt it while conversing the data integrity, right? So that is the key which we discussed in this paper with technical details of each of encryption and their concerns, etc. You could find the methods and details in the paper. Here, let me just tell what is approved standard is FF1 as of now, as well as FF3-1, which is a revised version which was released in 2019. However, that is not being used by many product vendor. The top one, which is FF1, is the one which is majorly used. It uses advanced encryption standard, which is a radix model. What is the radix model? Please go through the paper. So what are the different use cases for using format preserving encryption? It's used for masking the data of payment card or bank account, social security number, or personal identifiable information. These kind of solutions are offered by other products like Voltage, HashiCorp, Comfort, and FutureX, right? So what does it mean really? So it actually preserves the format and schema as it is, unlike the AES CBC mode where the size of the text is completely different and the schema is completely different. Having the similar format, it helps in application developers as well as data security, data administrators easy for writing their applications and improve the performance, right? So the second aspect is about using this masked data or FP for tokenization, right? There are different use cases for tokenization, right? Instead of using the asset itself, you use a token for managing the assets like gold, diamond, real estate, etc. And also managing the transactions when you're doing financial transaction using the token instead of the financial asset itself, right? So why do you do it? You do it to avoid financial fraud, tax evasion, supply chain fraud, and to meet regulatory requirements and protect the sensitive data, right? So one of such popular method apart from FPE is blockchain-based tokenization. So blockchain-based tokenization is actually commonly known as ledgers or tokens. They are immutable. You can't create again. And then it will have a timestamp that evade tampering of the information. So considering this timestamp monitoring, immutability, and access trail operability, this is being used in multiple use cases, and there are a lot of research done in these areas all the way from 2008. So for real estate, renewable energy, and critical infrastructure, smart city infrastructure with intelligent transportation, as well as pharmaceutical industries where the medicines which identified could be handled and medical research could be handled. So, however, there are concerns identified by different people. The key concern what we list here is the loss of accountability or ownership by the owners. Owners believe that token issuers can take over the control of profits and cash flows. They completely might disregard the owners, right? And they might claim the ownership rights. So that's the concern with this technology. It's not that issue is not technology issue, but it's a governance issue. But how do you assure with the technology is the issue, right? But considering various other advantages, this could not be hindrance. So we foresee a strong possibility to conduct future research and address these concerns and handle the dilemmas of usage, access, and ownership, right? So that is our conclusion. So we discussed about different encryption techniques and why they are ineffective, what are the problems in it, and then we went through the tokenization area and then proposed to reassess blockchain-based tokenization for managing these various business purposes with strong definitions of ownership and responsibility of tokens so that the owners are certain that it will be handled appropriately. So that's our overall conclusion. I hope this paper is useful to you. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you very much. Stay happy and stay healthy. Bye.